Were you listening? It's horrible to hear that response in a conversation and realize you actually weren't. I think we'd all agree that both in business matters as well as in our personal life, communication is extremely important, and improving that communication is going to improve the overall quality of our relationships, whether it's with clients or with our loved ones. Now, most people, particularly when it comes to business or entrepreneurial, professional dealings, focus a lot on communication. And communication is important. That's the sharing of information. But just as important, and maybe even more so, is the development of listening and listening skills. Because listening is a skill, it's something that can be developed. It's something that can be improved. Some people say, well, I'm just not a good listener. Bulldookie. It means that you haven't developed the skill, and so everyone can. And so what I want to do today is just to share some tips from counseling that might be applicable and helpful to you in your personal relationships and in your business ventures as well. So some practical listening skills. These are called active listening. So again, when we talk about listening, we're talking about a skill that can be developed, and in particular, active listening. Now, there's a lot of different counseling techniques and things that help therapists to connect with their clients and to foster understanding and the therapeutic alliance. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but I want to share just a few things that I think will be helpful, and they're useful in any kind of field, any kind of area where you want to build rapport and strengthen those relationships. So the first component that I want to share is reflection. Reflection is just what it says. Someone gives you information and you reflect that information back to them. I'm sure that we've all been in a situation where someone has been talking to us and or we've been talking to someone, and it seems like their eyes are just kind of glazed over. They're not really there. So reflection is a way to say, yes, I'm here, I'm present. It does two things. One, it shows that you understand. By reflecting the information back to them, it lets them know that they've been heard, that you at least are making an attempt at grasping the content that they're sharing with you. The second thing it does, it shows that you're fully present, that you're not making your grocery list or waiting for to when can I punch the clock and get out of here. You are present with them in the situation. So reflecting is important. Next, resistance is a huge piece of this. One of the reasons why communication fails is because the communicator creates resistance in the listener. And resistance means, it could mean a lot of things, but essentially it's where someone shuts down. They become defensive, they're no longer receptive to the things that you're sharing. Sometimes this happens because we're really passionate and people can come across as a little overbearing, because they feel their message is so important. But if you're generating resistance with the things that you share, you're going to shut down your listener, and they're not going to hear the things that, no matter how important they are to you. So things that create resistance would be, an obvious one would be insults. If you're insulting someone why are you so stupid that you don't get what I'm talking about? Are you so lazy? You can't get this report done in time? Obviously, that's a no-no. But even things like subtle things like sarcasm, or things like having a harsh tone or an excessive volume. When someone becomes defensive, when they feel like they've been attacked, the walls go up and they no longer want to hear what you've got to say. So you've immediately shot yourself in the foot in trying to communicate. So the second thing is, don't create resistance in your listener. The next one is body language. Body language is critically important. So of all the types of communication, and I didn't want to really get into this too much, but we have three main types of communication. One is verbal. That's the words that we use. The next is paraverbal. Para means below. What's underneath that? So the tone, the volume, those types of things, is a big part of our communication. And the third thing is our body language. And out of all three, the vast majority of our communication that is received and understood by our listener is through our body language. So you want to have a body language that is what we would call open, meaning that you're making eye contact, not in a creepy way, but that you're letting your listener know that you're focused on them, you're paying attention to them. We want to have an open posture in terms of your body. So if you have your arms crossed or you're looking away, your head's down, those things shut down the communication, and they make people again feel defensive and create resistance. So a little head nod every now and then, a smile, those kind of things show an open body language, an open posture. Even appropriate touch. Sometimes just touch will form a bond and a connection with your listener, that you're there and you're present. So be very mindful of your body language. And then lastly, summarizing. Summarizing is extremely important. When someone is sharing something with you, you can do a brief summarization of maybe just one point that they've made, or you can do if they've talked about several things, kind of a longer summarization. So what you're saying is, and then you kind of repeat that back to them in your own words, paraphrasing that. And there's two aspects that you want to focus on in terms of your summarization. So the first one is content. You want to summarize the information that they've shared and that you understand that. And the second thing is summarizing the emotion, that you understand the emotional impact, the intent of what they're sharing. So for example, let's say an example would be, this payroll expense project is massive and it's due in a week. Well, a content summarization would go something like, there's a lot of work involved in this and your resources seem limited. So you're reframing the situation and saying, okay, I understand your situation, I understand the information that you're sharing with me. An emotional summarization might be, you're really feeling the pressure of this deadline. That must be very stressful. Okay, so now you're repeating back to them, so they feel a greater connection, that you get what they're saying. So showing someone that you are fully present, that you understand and that you care, goes a long way toward building alliances, toward securing commitments, maybe with clients or with others, and with strengthening your overall relationships. So active listening is an incredible way to do that, and to show the person that you care and you're there. Until next time, don't just be transformed, be kinged.